Hello and welcome to the end of the month garden collaboration. I'm Lisa Ann Spencer, proprietor of Grandiose Heirlooms. Welcome. Let's go look at some plants. I never know where to start. Here are my market plants and my personal plants for the garden. There's too many to talk about. And still have a few plants over here. In my barn and in pots that will probably just be here for the rest of the season. The fig has really grown and is looking beautiful. And I do have a couple of tomato plants that the labels went missing, so I don't know what they are, so I just stuck them in pots. And they actually have blooms on them, so that's fun. My herbal mullein is gorgeous. That's from last year. They overwintered in the barn. Oregano. I've got some sweet potatoes here, and you can see that the starts are just now coming on, so that'll be just right for planting in maybe June. Swiss chard, which I have been harvesting. Yeah, just several things. I do still have some plants in the barn, not many. This was baby corn, but my chickens got into it and nearly decimated it. So I'm letting it recover. Got some dill, some little flowers. You can see they're very tiny. And then I'm starting some cilantro, some cantaloupe and loofah most recently. And more mullein back there. Cucumbers, just a few things. Not too much. I have a few herbs over there on the windowsill. They're looking pretty dry, but I just use this to keep these alive over winter. So they survived. That's a good thing. So we'll go into paddock number 4 here. I call it number 4 because it's the last one. I had to write myself a reminder to push and not pull. This one was my first one planted. It's late in the evening, the shadows are long. I'll try to stay out of the way. I've got sweet peas here and some little cauliflower plants coming along. They were really tiny, I think, when I did my last collaboration, and they're not growing very well, so it's been a little bit warmer than usual. Rhubarb, it's a brand new one. We'll see how well it does there. More peas on the fence and radishes. I've already begun to harvest the radishes and eat them. And I sowed carrots among them, but not very many carrots germinated. So I'm not sure. I think it was just the weather. The weather's been crazy here. Like it'd be 30 and then it would jump up to almost 90 Fahrenheit here. I'm getting ready to plant my marshmallow over there. All right, I have some newly sown mesclun lettuce and spinach here. Needs to be watered, but I do see some germination down there. And if the weather doesn't get too hot, maybe I'll get a crop. Here's my little small early cabbages. And then some of them that didn't make it, I planted these Brussels sprouts. That's a Brussels right there in between just to fill in the empty spots. You see I've got a row of cardboard here. That's to keep the grass back until I can get some mulch in between. I've got, this is Calabrese broccoli, looking really good. This row is mulched with my old hay from last year. This is a variety called Deciso broccoli, and it's not doing as well. So I'm telling myself, make a note in my journal and just don't bother with this next year and just stick with the Calabrese. I like growing heirlooms. There's lots of hybrids you can grow that do really well, but I'm just not into that. So we got a chipper and chipped up a pile of wood, and it made mulch for one row, so that was nice. This row, besides the grass, is parsley. 2 rows, lots and lots of parsley because I dehydrate tons of it. I sell it, we use it all the time here, and I hate buying from the grocery store. And then there's little onions in between that I grew from seeds, so not sure how those are going to do. I tilled here and it knocked back some of the grass, but you can see it's still doing very well. My first planting of mesclun. It's doing okay. I would expect it to have put on a little bit more growth. It's just going to make it a little more challenging to harvest, and then all the grass that's growing in between, but oh well, I have grown accustomed to it. Here is a row of kale, and I put tennis ball lettuce in between, and it is just beautiful. That should be ready about the time when market starts in 2 weeks. So the kales are gorgeous. If I take care of them, they'll produce for a long time and get really tall. My Swiss chard over here are gorgeous, just beautiful. We've already started harvesting these. And then behind them are more sweet peas. Oh, I see my first bloom. Hooray, can you see that? That's a little white bloom, and I can't remember which variety this is. I wrote it in my journal, but I can't remember. This is why you write things down. So here are more peas along this fence. These did pretty good on, I mean, they're a little sparse on this side and pretty thick on the other, and then when you get down toward the end, they're really sparse. I'm not sure, it's a little cooler and wetter down there. And another row of radishes that were planted later, so those aren't ready to start harvesting yet. I actually sell quite a few radishes at the farmer's market I attend. You know, people either love radishes or they hate them. So here is a row of onions that I grew from sets, and they look really good. I was able to mulch in the middle of them at least to keep some of the grass down. And then this last row, besides grass, this is Amish speckled lettuce. It's an old heirloom variety. And then there's another tennis ball. So this is mostly the Amish speckled with a few tennis ball lettuces in between where the speckled died and I had extra plants. So again, these will be harvested probably by next month's collaboration, depending on the weather, and then I'll come in and plant something else here. Okay, we have these little baby chickies. I don't know if you can see them. Well, there's one. They're all over in the corner asleep in the dark, so you can't see them. We just moved them today or yesterday into that pen, and we moved the big ones over into paddock number 1, and we'll go over there, see those. See, pull. While we're here, we'll take a look at my mint. Here is like a wild kale or broccoli or something growing there. And then an iris. That's the first time it's bloomed since we've lived here. So that's pretty wild. I thought my thyme had died, but it has come back. Not as strong, and I'm gonna start harvesting some of this mint around it. And I've got all these like turnip greens growing randomly everywhere. This is the sage that actually bloomed. It's beautiful. I've got a little mullein there that looks like it's going to make it. Some rosemary and chamomile, tiny little babies. There's some cleome, more sage, looking good. Like a turnip green or something. Salvia, lemon balm. That's just plantain. It's native here. Daisy and my swamp hibiscus, looking good, and some oregano down here on the end. These are perennials. They just keep coming back every year, which is what I wanted along the south side of the barn. Yeah, gladiolus. They don't do so well, but you know, at least they're alive. My citrus tree actually looks pretty beautiful right now. It's never bloomed or anything. I can't remember how many years I've had it. It's probably never going to do anything. It's so stressed, but it's pretty to look at, and it was a gift from my father-in-law. So here's the big chickens grazing and enjoying being in this paddock. And I need to go in here to get to the other paddock. So in we go. Chickens, do not try to get out. Why would you? Hey, behave yourself. So I planted this. I mean, besides just grasses from, the lawn, there's clover, a couple of kinds of clover, wheat and rye. So it's very good grazing for the chickens. They're following me because they think I have something, and I do not. Storm, my daughter, who is the chicken tender, she has set up a refugee camp on this side so that they can have plenty of shade. Very nice. So here is paddock 2. And I think, I brought you here last month because I had just planted the potatoes. Look at all the grass. And what I do is I just come in with a lawnmower between the rows. And then when the potatoes get a little bit bigger, you can see them. They're doing pretty good. I will just compost really high, which will help control the grass. Here I've got some little baby beets growing and some runner beans, Trail of Tears runner beans. I had to replant them. They didn't do so great, but I'm hopeful. I've got a couple more kales, and along the back there of the fence is like some bok choy, baby choy, bok choy. I've got celery. And the grass bothered me so bad, but it just doesn't anymore. It is a mixture that I have sown of clover, rye, wheat, and of course it's grasses that just occur in the lawn. And I almost find it's better that you have something growing. I'll mow it, as I said, and then when I've got excess mulch and hay and grass clippings, I'll throw those on top to keep it in check. I did that here with the garlic, and it stayed in check for a while, but the garlics will be ready in probably 6 to 8 weeks to dig, and then something else will be planted here. More lettuces. This is Summertime Crisp Head and Hanson lettuce. Again, a couple of open pollinated and heirloom. They look good. I've already been harvesting the outer leaves. In fact, I'm going to eat a salad tonight, and that is gorgeous. Lettuce is beautiful. I've got a row of green beans right here, the bush type. So that'll be knee-high probably next month. Lots of clover out here, which is great for my bees. The raspberries got little green berries on them. Let's see. You see that? I don't know how blurry that is. But this is a single row on this side, and then over there is a double row, and we're looking right at the western sun. That's going to be a little challenging, but these are looking good. I hear bees. So yeah, let's look this way. And you've got this double row of black raspberries here. My bags of mulch that I bought because I do mulch them. This side got mulched. This side hopefully gets mulch this week. Behind me here, there's my asparagus. So we didn't harvest any this year. There's only about 12 plants there, and we're just letting it multiply and try to grow there. And then I've got garlic and in my strawberry bed. And my daughter, my youngest, has been picking strawberries already, 7 or 8 a day as they turn pink. She can hardly let them ripen, and she's starting to collect them and cut them and put them in the freezer. So yeah, I'm tempted to pick that one too, but it needs to wait till tomorrow. There's some beauties in there actually. And then behind it is chamomile. So I planted a couple of plants last year and they reseeded, and they look like weeds, but beautiful weeds. And they're very productive, very beautiful. So I've been coming out every other day, snapping off the flowers and drying them and making tea. I sell that at the farm market and my farm stand. But the rest of it is grass. You can see behind it. So when the chamomile does its thing and dies back, I'll just mow that down, make it look neater. But right now we're enjoying it, and it will drop tons of seeds and come back next year. My second son's first blueberries, he planted 4 year before last, and they're doing fine. We have to put a separate fence around them because when the chickens were in there, but now that can come down, so that's good. It'll make them, well, that's not true because the babies are in here. Here they are. Hey, babies. Can you see them? They're so sweet. But they're so little, they're not going to hurt anything. We're waiting for them to get bigger so that we can put them out here in the orchard. So while we're here, we'll just go back here to the orchard. I don't think we actually went into the orchard last month. I have mown it, not with my scythe, but with an actual lawnmower, and mulched around the trees and bushes that needed to be mulched. This is blueberry. We did 3 little peaches last year that we found in the compost. My husband ran over this one with a lawnmower last year, but it made a recovery. So there's 3 peaches. Not sure if you'll be able to see them, but this one's looking good. And we'll prune them as they get bigger. This one's doing really well up here. So maybe, we'll have peaches from that. And then my husband recently planted 2 pawpaw trees. So you see the tag on that one, and then right down there. So we have the blueberries that we were just looking at. Here's one of the blueberries. And you can see there's actually lots of little green berries on there. So, and then my bees are right back here. I don't want to touch the electric fence. So on the right, my swarm that I caught last year, which was so tiny, has now grown and is so busy. My big hive, I think, swarmed and split in half because it doesn't have near the traffic. But I have the honey supers on top, and they are making honey, so I'm really hoping that I'll get to enjoy some honey this year. So I have a couple of pear trees. These we planted the first year we were here, so they're looking really good. That's a pear. And then that's a plum. And we had a late freeze this year, so if any blossoms were just killed on so many things, that's always disappointing. Here's a really good looking blueberry. So all in all, I think we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blueberries. 1 died over winter right here. And then there's a nice one right there. Here's our portable chicken coop. That's where the babies are going to go. And we'll just wheel it through the orchard and let them eat bugs and fertilize. That is an apple tree. 3 apple trees in a row there. And we have an elderberry. I bought this from Tractor Supply. Last season it was about 6 inches tall, and now it is up to my chest. So it really grew. I'm looking forward to having elderberries without having to stop on the side of the road to harvest them. This is a wild cherry tree. It came out of our compost, and I'm keeping it because you can make a good cough syrup out of the bark, which I have done already with some of the wild ones. But anyway, so this paddock is where the chickens were last time, and you can see my husband has recently tilled it for me. We're going to be planting tomatoes there soon and other things. So when you see us next, hopefully we'll have lots of things in the ground over here. I'm taking you down to my farm stand. Give you a brief tour. I've got lots of plants down here for sale. Celery, kale, Swiss chard, heading lettuces, and cauliflower. Here's my sign, Grandiose Heirlooms. Got an egg sign, eggs for sale. So this was just a little well house, just a decorative well house. There's actually a giant sinkhole under here. The well, you can look down in it and it's, I don't know, 25 feet deep. It's kind of scary. But I put this tub in here and I keep my boxes and bags there for the customers to use. My daughter sells her eggs. Got a little Venmo code and a pay box. Got my chalkboards with all my prices on there. And today is Sunday, so I don't really keep it stocked on Sunday. Got a few leftover cookies. I made cinnamon Pop-Tart cookies. Got a little bit of my violet jelly left, and I sell these feed sack totes. So that's fun. I'll also sell herbs and soap and other things, but as I said, I don't stock it on Sunday. Sage, rosemary, curled parsley, flat parsley, basil, oregano, thyme, and the trays are all full because I did restock it. I had a couple of customers come by today while I was away, and my tomatoes are selling. These are all heirloom tomatoes, and they are going pretty quickly actually. And that back there is my row of cherry tomatoes. And then I have a couple in these half-gallon pots. I've sold a few of those for people who, just want tomatoes that grow well in pots. So I thought you might like a tour of the farm stand. Let's pop over here and look at this clematis. It's glorious, beautiful. And you may have noticed the tent in the background. My youngest daughter and I actually really enjoy tent camping when the weather is cool. Oh, I'm out of breath from walking up that hill. That's it. That's the end of the tour. Thanks for watching to the end. This monthly collaboration is hosted by Home Educating the Mad Lads, and that is Victoria. And then Maria at the Richardson Simple Living. So go check out their channels. They will be linked below. And come back and see me next month.